Stephen A. Smith is a fraud.
Squeeze me? Oh, no, you did.
He's one of the biggest frauds I've ever seen in the history of media. He makes Jason Blair, the former New York Times reporter that got exposed as a fraud, he makes that guy look like Ernest Hemingway or Walter Cronkite. I know many of you all think it's personal with me and Stephen A. Smith. It's not personal to the point that I'm ignoring facts and I don't have a point of why I'm trying to educate you all on how people like Stephen A. Smith are used to mislead the public. That's the overall point. It's not a personal thing between me and Stephen A. Smith. He's an example of how you're misled constantly by the media. They install fraudulent people. They prop up fraudulent people. And then they use fraudulent people like Stephen A. Smith eventually in their political pursuit. Stephen A. Smith is the perfect political candidate. He's unconcerned with the truth. He will do and say whatever his financial backers tell him. That's what he's done for Bob Iger and Disney for more than a decade. He's paid to stir racial division among sports fans and stand as controlled opposition to NBA and NFL ownership. When he's not debating on First Take, his ESPN show, he spends his days and nights yapping with Patrick Bet-David, Sean Hannity, Chris Cuomo, Bill Maher, Bill O'Reilly, and anyone else looking for a diverse voice to talk politics. He's uninformed and loud. He pretends to be an outspoken maverick. He's Black John McCain with a jump shot. Or maybe he's Roland Martin with a neck. But we know this, had Kamala Harris won the election, Stephen A. Smith would be hosting kid-friendly drag shows. He voted for Harris because he thought she would win. Since she got defeated, he's ramped up his presidential campaign as the reasonable, tough-talking Democrat. He's Black Donald Trump. No, he's not. He's a plant. Bob Iger and Disney have groomed him as a Manchurian candidate. I'm leery of anyone who can't see or won't point out the obvious fraudulence of Stephen A. Smith. This is why I reject being a Republican, because I don't believe in a big tent. I'm MAGA, because I believe we live in a time where men have to impose their will. You're not going to reason with an unrepentant Democrat. Smith hasn't repented. He says he feels foolish for voting for Kamala Harris. He's a fool for standing against Donald Trump and MAGA. That's what he is. He's a fool for standing against the patriarchy. He's a fool for supporting the corrupt establishment. Take a listen.
One could argue that Obama resonated more because the people chose him to be the Democratic nominee for the presidency of the United States of America, as opposed to somebody backdooring their way into that position. Let's just be honest about it. You had Biden. I know that you supported Biden. Obviously, you spoke about his mental acuity and all of that other stuff, but we all saw what we saw. Before the debate on June 27th, when the debate happened, and by the time that was exposed, you then waited 3 weeks after that before he decided to walk away, but it was too late for anybody else to get in. So Kamala Harris, who didn't resonate during the primaries in 2020, couldn't even get to Iowa, suddenly is the Democratic nominee. And then then you roll up at the convention in Chicago, and everybody's like, she's a rock star. So it was like, wait a minute, how that happened? How that happened? I don't know how that happened. So you're looking at all of those things and you're saying, yes, I voted for her. A lot of people voted for her. But in the end, we end up feeling like damn fools because we supported it. We fell for the okie doke, as they say. You know she did. If you had a primary, the likelihood is that she would not have been the Democratic nominee. And you can't say that about Trump in this side.
Bitcoin isn't going anywhere, so why not start stacking some today? The Fold app gives you Bitcoin rewards when you buy gift cards at Amazon, Uber, DoorDash, and Home Depot. Over 50 national merchants. Go to foldapp.com/Whitlock right now. New users get a Bitcoin bonus with their first gift card purchase. Start earning Bitcoin rewards today. Fold app. Stephen A. Smith didn't fall for the okie doke. Stephen A. Smith took the check and did what he was told. Stephen A. Smith took the check and did what he was told. And the people, from Bill Maher to Patrick Bet-David to Bill O'Reilly, look, some of these guys, Bill O'Reilly, I halfway like and respect, but I'm just looking at him like, why are you helping sell the Stephen A. fraudulence? This fraudulence is so obvious. How can you not see it? I feel like a fool for voting for Kamala Harris. No, you were a fool because you were a man and you weren't man enough to say, hey, look, I got a choice between the patriarchy and the matriarchy. I'm gonna stand with the patriarchy. I got a choice between standing with someone who will challenge the establishment or standing with the establishment. I have a choice between someone who will free pro-life people that have been put in prison for no good reason for some bogus law they created, including Beverly Williams. And not that Beverly Williams is above the other 23 or other 22 people that were free, but Stephen A. Smith loved to talk about how much he supports black women and black people. Beverly Williams is a beautiful black mother with a black husband that was locked up in prison for praying outside of an abortion clinic. You ain't man enough to stand up for her. You gonna stand with the people that put her in prison for praying outside of an abortion clinic where black babies are killed day after day, year after year, thousands of them? Stephen A. Smith makes me sick. And the fact that we are in any way propping this man up and don't recognize the time that we actually live in. And all of us that are celebrating, Trump did this, Trump did that. Oh, look at these first 4, 5, 6 days of what Trump has done. You ain't man enough or woman enough to appropriately thank and celebrate the people that made it possible. Because you don't want to get your hands dirty. You don't want anybody looking crossways at you. Because the people that put Trump in office, the backbone of the entire MAGA movement, is them 1,500 people that Trump released from prison who showed up on January 6th and were willing to impose their will peacefully on these corrupt politicians that are stealing this country from the average American. Them January 6th people, them insurrectionists,